Shalom, 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 shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash, and double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone of whom I learned from. And shalom to the Holy Light Brothers, 144,000 chosen, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yahshua to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai, is your brother Radah. We got to get more on this, man. The man of sin being revealed, okay? I'm
a man who sees life in terms of missions.
You got to understand that when Esau speaks at events like this, they are speaking in code. The rest of the world is being deceived. Everything that they say is a lie. Scripture says, when he speaks fairly, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations. Also, this is what's happening. Behold, this is Nahum 3:5. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh, Tazabawathka, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. I will show the nations thy nakedness. It's talking about his transgressions, his sin, and the kingdoms thy shame. Also, let me see, just read that one. Let me see. This is also what we're going into. This is what they're doing. This is what's being exposed. These pedophile rings that are being exposed, this is really what it is. It's Wisdom of Solomon 6, verses 3 down to 6. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for being for doing most odious works. Odious goes in the hateful works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices. There goes your child sacrifice, your snuff films, your child pornography, and also those merciless murders of children, and the devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood. And I want to focus on verse 6. With their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute for help. Priest, idolatrous crew, parents. Priest, idolatrous crew, parents. One more time. Priest, idolatrous crew, parents. There goes your 1,000 points of light. There goes your communities. There goes your network of people who are in the know, all on different levels, in order for this massive, massive structure, this massive global network to function. There are many, many people who are not in government, who are not super high, exalted elite, but they're on the bottom, they're workers, they're pawns, and they have some level of understanding, illuminated points of light. They understand from a religious perspective, and they keep everything hidden. They serve and they give over their children, and they help abduct children and hand them over as offerings, like on the right hand side when the nation of Israel would bring in their lambs and their rams and their turtle doves into the temple, and the Levitical priesthood would process everything. That's what these people are doing with these Donald Trump, Epstein type people. They're basically a priesthood, man. Okay, and you're going to hear President Bush talking about this.
I'm a man who sees life in terms of missions defined and missions completed. I will not allow this country to be made weak again. I will keep America moving forward.
Same shit that fucking Donald Trump was saying. It's a patriotic, fucking Western American, white American lie. When behind the scenes, they're doing completely different things.
Always forward for an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light.
1,000 points of light. What the hell was that, by the way? 1,000 points of light. What did that mean? Does anyone know? I know one thing. Make America great again, we understand. Putting America first, we understand. 1,000 points of light. I never quite got that one. I'm trying to say, what the hell is that? Has anyone ever figured that one out? The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour.
See him doing that 666? That's all he does. Every time he talks, he's always doing that 666 hand sign.
Hour of action.
电脑即可远程操控，每台无人机都像一个聪明的小精灵一样，能够自由地飞到自己的位置。 接下来，让我们一起共同来期待，看一看他们。现场的各位嘉宾，请
I'm a man who sees life in terms of missions, missions defined, and missions completed. I will not allow this country to be made weak again. I will keep America moving forward, always forward, for an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light. This is my mission, and I will complete it.
Say, what the hell is that?
Again, this goes into their left-handed precept writing. This stuff absolutely means things. You can go into the scriptures and find out when Job is speaking about the beginning stages of Esau, Edom, how they were very animal-like, how they made animal noises, and how they were chased out, lived in the caves. And this is Esau confessing the point where the left hand, Elohim, once Yahweh was ready to raise them up, gave them wisdom so that they could rule. And we understand that the Most High controls the intelligence and the wisdom levels of men, and we can see that take place with the story of King Nebuchadnezzar over Babylon in the book of Daniel, when he lost his wisdom for 7 years as a form of punishment and instantly retrieved it all back at the order of the Most High after 7 years. We can see right there a record of a man losing his brilliance and getting it back again, his light being taken from him and instantly giving it back to him at the end of his punishment. The same thing that's happening with the elect of Israelites right now. And we understand that all of the wisdom that Esau operates on the left-hand side is not because he's white. It's because Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, has given it to him through the prince demon Satan on the left-hand side. And this is them writing and confessing that in their left-handed precepts. One moment, there had been nothing but darkness. That's talking about them when they didn't have their wisdom. Next moment, 1,000 points of light leaped out, single stars, constellations, and planets, brighter and brighter than any in the world. And when you go into the wisdom of Solomon, King Solomon talks about the points of light, talks about light being wisdom, and a point of light is a reference to understanding.
And the generation born after the Second World War has come of age. I've spoken of 1,000 points of...
So the generation born after the Second World War are what? It's a group of people. It's a group of Edomites who have been being trained up secretly, having information passed down. They teach their kids different stuff than they teach us in schools, right? And they have secret information that they pass down to their people, to their friends, that they understand. And so now he's saying this generation's ready, and he's calling them the 1,000 points of light.
Of all the community organizations.
There it is, all the community organizations
that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing.
That's all code, talking about the illuminated Edomites, the Edomites that are on the bottom, but they know what's going on. You got a whole section of Edomites who do not know what the fuck's going on. They're poor, they're rich, they're Christians, they're business owners, they're just white people, right? They benefit from the lie. They're operating in the deception of patriotism, Republican and Democrat. They're pretty much being used by their own race of people to what? They pay bills, they pay fines, they pay fucking insurance for health care, and they're sick because they're eating poison that's controlled by the same Edomites, right? And they pay a lot of money from all the money they make in this society where they think it's all about being white and fucking the American dream. And then you got a whole section of Edomites, bro, who understand that they're the Edomites, that they're witchcraft, and they're working in a completely different religious system. That's what Bush is talking about right here.
Good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding, We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies.
And then this precept right here is very powerful. The seed of mind, let me let it come up a little bit more. The seed of mind was implanted in some of the aspiring animal men. And the animal man is talking about their animalistic beginnings. We understand that in Scripture, King David says, anyone who dies and is held in honor, but he dies without knowledge of the Most High, is no different than the beast. He also talks about how he was like a beast when he didn't know the ways of the Most High. The beast of the field in the beginning in the book of Genesis, that is talking about people. Why? Same thing in the book of Daniel, the beasts of the field that were underneath the tree. The tree is King Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar is likened to the tree because he has wisdom, and all the other animals that he's ruling over are the nations. So wisdom likens you unto a man in a tree, and the lack of wisdom likens you unto a beast. The seed of mind was implanted, talking about the seed of intelligence, the seed of wisdom was implanted in some of the aspiring animal men, talking about their beginnings, the Edomites, by the hierarchy. The hierarchy are your Alahayim on the left-hand side. And these animal men became human beings. What does that mean? They just rose in their intelligence. They became smarter, of a very low order to be sure, but still men. They were sparked. This is explaining on the left-hand side how they got their intelligence. If I might so express it, and a point of light appeared where before there was none. You have to understand the breakdown of this. It's the same thing when you're reading Wisdom of Solomon. Same thing. The Most High gave us his wisdom. I think it's in Deuteronomy. This is your wisdom before the nations that I give unto you. There is specific wisdoms on the right-hand side that is only given to the elect men of Israel, and there are specific wisdoms given to the elect men on the left-hand side, and that's what makes us the Lucifer. You have to understand that. Now, understanding this, we're going to show you these communities of points of light that George Bush was fucking talking about. Let's check this out. Look at this.
Blank also described several infants being killed and their intestines removed, as well as other acts of cannibalism. Blank also stated that former United States President George H.W. Bush was engaged in a sex act with an unknown male black, and so much more. So this could be one of the most disturbing new drops from the Epstein file release. This is essentially a tip that was turned into the FBI, I believe, in 2019, August 2019. Basically, this is like the rundown of an interview with an alleged victim of Epstein's who wanted to come forward with what happened to them. And this story is incredibly disturbing. Blank stated that he first met Epstein at approximately age 4 while at the blank East Greenwich, Rhode Island.
How is a 4-year-old being introduced to a fucking grown man? Well, it's very easy. Remember? You got to remember verse 6 of chapter 12 of Wisdom of Solomon. With their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew and the parents that killed with their own hands, souls destitute for help. And what did Bush say? What did he say?
We will work on this in the White House, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, nation doing good.
Right.
I've spoken.
Listen what he says. He's breaking down verse 6 of Wisdom of Solomon 12.
Of 1,000 points of light, of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good.
Those are your fucking Freemason lodges. Those are your fucking families who understand, who are in the know, who are operating in the occult. This is what that's talking about, bro.
We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding. We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agency.
And this is how so many children are brought to fucking goddamn adults, man. It doesn't make any sense.
Blank also described several infants
unless you understand that.
Being killed and their intestines removed, as well as other acts of cannibalism. Blank also stated that former United States President George H.W. Bush was engaged in a sex act with an unknown male black, and so much more. So this could be one of the most disturbing new drops from the Epstein file release. This is essentially a tip that was turned into the FBI, I believe, in 2019, August 2019. Basically, this is like the rundown of an interview with an alleged victim of Epstein's who wanted to come forward with what happened to them. And this story is incredibly disturbing. Blank stated that he first met Epstein at approximately age 4 while at the blank East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Then he said his family members of the blank stated at the time he was raped, sodomized by his great uncle, and that Epstein was there but didn't touch him. He goes on to say that Epstein spoke to him after he was raped by his great uncle, but he didn't know who Epstein was until way later in 2016. But he continues. Blank further stated in sum and substance that while on a large luxury ship that sailed out of the Newport Beach show in Newport, Rhode Island, September blank at approximately 8 years of age, he, blank, was subjected to some type of medical exam on the yacht by unknown doctor while his great uncle and family members were present. Blank went on to describe a bizarre event in which blank inserted a tape measure in his rectum. Blank stated subsequent to the exam he was then raped, sodomized by Epstein, as well as former United States President Bill J. Clinton, while in a heavy drug-induced state. Blank also stated that the bottoms of his feet and back were slashed. Black further stated also during the said yacht trip, multiple unknown male blacks or black people were engaged in sex acts with unknown female whites who had their backs slashed and were bleeding. Blank also described several infants being killed and their intestines removed, as well as other acts of cannibalism. Blank also stated that former U.S. President George H.W. Bush was engaged in a sex act with an unknown male black. Former United States Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and businessman George Soros were present on the same yacht while all of the aforementioned acts of violence were occurring. Blank was then asked if he had any injuries or scars as evidence, to which Blank responded, "On my anus." The victim then provided a handwritten list of his family and extended family members and suggested they talk to them. He also stated that his great uncle is in possession of video evidence of his crimes against Blank, as well as several snuff films that Blank had watched in the presence of his great uncle. So in this one tip alone, we've got multiple former U.S. presidents named, multiple high-profile government figures, allegations of a yacht party, which I don't find to be unrealistic, more allegations of medical experiments done on victims, which Epstein was obviously fond of, violence, potential murder, snuff films. And this isn't the first time we've heard these allegations in relation to Epstein. However, we're seeing more and more of them now, and I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that this might not be a joke anymore. Blank also...
They were right. The tinfoil hats were f***ing right. Right about the Israel connection, about the compromised politicians, about the pedophile ring. They were right. Allegedly, of course. And they did get the details wrong. Because what did the tinfoil hat guys do? They elected those pedos into fucking office. These people played their hand perfectly. They told them everything they wanted to hear.
We're going to drain the swamp of corruption.
They validated their conspiratorial minds.
They always like to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory, folks. Millions and millions of people.
And then they built up the cult. A godlike image. Attacking him was blasphemy. They discredited the media, they demonized the opposition, and they gave them an enemy.
The radical left is causing this problem. Not the right, the radical left.
And everything that goes against the word of the great leader.
You are fake news.
Every revelation of wrongdoing just confirmed the witch hunt narrative.
That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
So now that the Epstein case finally blows open, nothing. Silence. We're 12 hours in. Look at the front page of the #1 propaganda channel today after 3 million documents went live. Not a word on the biggest pedophile ring in history.
President Trump says that Iran wants to make a deal.
And these constant distractions have the media focusing on everything else.
The commander-in-chief has been weighing new strikes on the Islamic
So
Republic.
what will it be now? Will it be bombing Iran? Will it be more military in American cities? Will it be the arrest of Obama? Don't let him distract you. Don't let him censor you. Do not stop talking about this. Keep on the pressure, and this might just be his downfall. They were right.
The files are out, and they are showing us exactly what they want us to see. Think about what I just said. What they want us to see. Everyone's looking at these in horror, seeing that pretty much everyone of the elite class in American society is a satanic pedophile. What do we do with this information? Well, it doesn't make us...
Remember, keep going back and forth. What does this say? Wisdom of Solomon 12, verses 3-6. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murders of children, and the devourers of men's flesh, and the feast of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous group, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute for help.
Feel very good now, does it? You have to wonder, why are they allowing that? Why are they allowing us to feel that way? And what comes next? Because they never do anything without a distinct plan. They never do it without reasoning. They never do it without true and precise intentionality behind it. They want us to feel a certain way so that they can do something after it. I don't know what comes next, but this is something that myself and many other people online have been saying for years, that things like this will continue to happen. And to me, it's a silent declaration of war upon humanity. And the files.
But clearly the DOJ did not want this to get out, because this is crazy. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone gets convicted of the same story over 10 different times, and then it's over 20 different times, and then it's over 30, and the same exact stories are being said by different victims from all around the world, which many of them are also suffering the same fate of going missing. However, the ultimate connection between all of these stories seems to be Donald Trump and Epstein. So it's no wonder he was deathly afraid of this coming out, because this would be the death of Donald Trump. Now let's get into a couple more of these allegations the DOJ and Trump wants nobody to see. Victim reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis she was approximately 13 or 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit Trump while performing it. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. Next one, and this is crazy right here, because Elon Musk accused Trump and Trump accused Bill Clinton. How would all three of you know that all three of you are in the Epstein files? And why are you accusing each other if you're all in the Epstein files? Because we have not heard Trump say anyone's name more than Bill Clinton. Now let's take a look at this reporting right here. At age 16, while modeling, Caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, Caller reported that she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Oren, lured Caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Oren raped her best friend and a third brother, Ty, a 14-year-old girl named Victim. Caller named other individuals involved in big parties with her, other young girls and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. This person next reported seeing a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 1995 to 1996. Victim reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam in the Brookrest parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Victim reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Why do so many of these stories end this way? They usually end this way when the victim reports something or threatens to speak up. Victim reported being threatened by Trump, then head of security, that if she ever talked what went on or who she saw, she would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other. That is exactly what we just said, and the pattern we've recognized over the past few months of each individual file we've received from the Epstein files. And this person is reporting that exact same thing. Katie Johnson went missing after suing Trump when she was 13 for raping her on Epstein's Island. Now this last one says a lot of why Trump didn't want the files to come out. Now be reminded that Pam Bondi said there were tens of thousands of tapes. However, they only released 2,000 tapes today. They are withholding the strongest, most this. So clearly the files are on. They were right. This.
Look at this. Some little girls talking.
This.
Epstein.
This. This.
They're on an airplane and some little girl saying, "Where are you taking us?"
A while back, I made a video saying that I did not care about the Epstein files, and while I still largely believe that, I was not prepared for what has just dropped over the last couple of days. Fuck.
Epstein once told me that every girl he had sex with had benefited in one of 3 ways. Either he had given them money to better their lives, or he helped to jumpstart their career, or he had married them off to one of his successful friends. All of the girls in Epstein's household knew, for example, that in 1994, a former girlfriend of Epstein, a woman in her 20s, married another man in his social circle. He told me he'd be willing to do the same sort of matchmaking for me. When he said this, he clearly believed that what he was offering me was a life-changing gift. Maxwell was a different animal, selfish, certain.
Bill Clinton is on 1,667 pages. Bill Gates is mentioned on 2,638 pages. Elon Musk is mentioned on 1,122 pages. Ron DeSantis is on 95 pages. Jim Jordan is on 72 pages. Lindsey Graham is on 144 pages. J.D. Vance, 18 pages. Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice, is on 47 pages. Chuck Schumer, 59 pages. Just to get all of this information the way that we are and to know that this really is just the tip of the iceberg is honestly just mind-blowing. Bill Clinton is on one...
Pretty wild, huh? You see all these Edomites? So again, what is it? It's verse 6. With their priests out of the midst of the idolatrous crew and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute for help. The Most High said he was going to expose and bring everything out about this man, and that is what is happening. Let's get that precept. Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself, and will be done. But I have made Esau bare, this is Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Again, Esau is the border of wickedness, the border of wickedness. Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh Tazabawaka, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone of whom I learned from. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.